All right, so even though this is a session with no other attendees, I'm going to record it. I'm going to go ahead and get started. First things first, my name is Craig Hawley. I am an assistant director at the Writing Center here at the University of South Carolina. And I'm going to talk to you today about the Writing Center and what we do, what you might expect, what you might not expect, what we don't really cover at the Writing Center, and just kind of introduce you to the basics and help you figure out how to sign up for an appointment. So I'm going to share my screen if you'll just give me 1 second. So, welcome to the Writing Center. This is for undergraduates. This is specifically going to be tailored to undergraduate students. Again, this is presented by Craig Hawley. That's me. I'm an admin with the Writing Center. About the Writing Center. Our creed, our motto is that we're for all writers from all disciplines, of all backgrounds, and of all genres. We're an on-campus resource. We're completely staffed by graduate English students. And what we do is essentially we just offer writing tutoring services to absolutely all undergraduate and graduate students, as well as faculty and staff. We're happy to assist you with anything you're working on. We offer assistance on just about any kind of document you can bring to us, and really at just about any stage of the writing process. So we'll get more into the writing process here in just a minute, but first I want to at least share with you our mission statement. Our mission statement is the USC Writing Center is committed to helping clients at any stage of the writing process become better writers. Our mission is to help writers in all academic disciplines develop their writing abilities, to promote collaborative learning, to train graduate students in writing center teaching and administration, and to provide writing resources to our academic community. So that's our mission statement. That's what we believe in. And we enact this mission from our center in the James Byrd building, which you can see here. We are located just at the mouth of the horseshoe. If you know where the Cool Bean is, right here, we are just right beside the Cool Bean. We're right beside Drayton Hall. If you come out the mouth of the horseshoe, we're this big white building. You look for the Apple Store and you cannot miss us. Once you get inside that building, what you'll do is you'll go to the elevators in the middle and you'll go straight up to the top floor, the 7th floor. Once you go to the 7th floor, you look out the elevators, you turn to the left, and we are literally the very first door that you are going to see. So if you're ever over near the Burns building, please come by and stop in and let us know if you'd like to schedule an appointment. Please feel encouraged to come and check us out. So the next big question that I want to start unpacking is, what exactly do we do here at the Writing Center? What does the Writing Center do? So we offer writing tutoring by appointment only. We don't have a huge staff, so we try to keep our appointments really orderly, and we try to prevent people from just walking in and asking for help immediately, because that makes it really hard for us to schedule the exact kind of help that you're looking for. So we offer appointments by we offer tutoring by appointments, rather. These appointments, they can be in person, they can be live video, or they can be something called document drop-off. So what we mean by that is in person obviously means you are coming into the center, you're meeting with the tutor one-on-one in a session at a table, and they're working with you through a document. Live video is somewhat similar. Live video would be something akin to what we're doing now. It's going to be live. It's going to be actual interaction with a tutor one-on-one. The way our software works, we have a whiteboard function that you can either share your screen or you can copy and paste text from a Word document into a whiteboard on the screen. And you and the tutor can work through that draft of your document together, very much in the same way that you would do in an in-person session. The one of these that's a little bit different is our document drop-off option. for that option, what happens is you'll schedule your appointment. It'll be at a certain time. And what you'll do is instead of showing up anywhere or instead of having to log in and be on camera, you literally will just upload your document to that appointment. It'll have an option for you to submit documents along with that appointment. And during this time period of your appointment, the tutor is going to look at that document. They're going to make suggestions. They're going to make comments. They're going to give you feedback. They might look specifically at one thing or another, and they'll give you these comments in a report. And with the document, usually the way I do it is I just put comments directly onto the document. I use the commenting function in Word, and then just send you a draft back with my comments added in the margins. And that's one of our more popular ways to get feedback. So with these appointments, they're all scheduled in the same time slots, and you can work on a document for either 25-minute sessions or 55-minute sessions. Generally speaking, the 25-minute sessions is for something shorter. Maybe you're looking at a 2 to 3 page paper, something a little bit easier to digest, where you can work through it really quickly and maybe only have 1 or 2 issues that you're going to address in that document. A 55-minute session is a little bit longer, a little bit more substantial. Our tutors, depending on what kind of document it is, sometimes our tutors can get through 6 to 10 page documents in this time. If we're really hustling through a document and looking at it really more for skimming it, you can maybe get a little bit more length out of that timeline. But again, we want to try to make sure we're offering you really valid advice and valid feedback so that we give you exactly what it is that you're looking for. So, and what happens is after these sessions, this last 5 minutes or so of these time blocks, theoretically, it's a 30-minute time block, and we're going to work with you for 25 minutes. And then that last 5 minutes is usually reserved for filling out client reports. So what happens is when you have an appointment with the Writing Center, by the end of the day, we have a 12-hour maximum time cap for us to get you a report of what went down in this appointment, what did we discuss, what are some suggestions that were given, and then what the next steps would be for your work on this document. And we can even do this so that we have this report sent to an instructor or a third party. We know that some people have instructors that want to see their writing center reports, or want to see proof of feedback, or want to be included in that feedback. So we can easily do that, send these reports to an instructor, send them to a third party. Maybe if there's a group project that you've got someone that you want to work with and they need to know this information as well, we're happy to do that. This also helps us give proof of attendance. If you're required to be here for some reason, for academic integrity or whatever the case may be, we can send these reports so that you have proof of attendance to make sure it's clear that you were at the Writing Center and here's what happened. So I mentioned the writing process before, and I wanted to stop really briefly and just unpack this for a second. So the writing process, generally it's boiled down to these 5 stages. These can vary based on the kind of writing that you're doing, or what kind of process you have specifically for your own writing. Some people like to have a much longer pre-writing stage. Some people like to skip the pre-writing and essentially just dive right in and start drafting content immediately. Some people do the absolute opposite. They want to, really brainstorm, and then they want to just throw a bunch of things on the paper and then edit, and then only at the very last second really go back and add research. I'm happy to admit, not happy to admit, but willing to admit, let's say, that sometimes that's more how I do things if I'm rushing. So, but these stages are essentially pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. The pre-writing stage is a lot of times where we have our brainstorming and our planning process. This is where we do most of our research. This is where we essentially do all that stuff that we have to do before we actively start putting pen on paper. And once we have a good plan, once we have an outline and research and our readings done and some brainstorming and some ideas of where we're going to go, then we start drafting. And this drafting stage can look like just throwing everything at the page. It can be free writing. It can be, really trying to draw conclusions. It can be just something as simple as trying to make sentences make sense. So what drafting is this is where we're putting ideas down on paper. We're drawing connections between our thoughts and research. This is often really writer-centered. It's where the writer's figuring out, what do I know about this topic? What's like my rough explanation of this thing? What do I want to explore some more? And then once we have a draft kind of laid out, then we get to the revising stage. This is where we actually refine and distill our drafting into an effective, polished document that's ready to be read by someone else. This is where instead of us being really writer-centered in the drafting stage, this new stage, the revising stage, becomes really reader-centered. We say, okay, now that I've explained what I know, what does my reader need to know? And that means we have to adapt our content a little bit more. We have to make sure that the formatting is there. We have to make sure that we organize our ideas so that they're understandable. But it's really important to not get too hung up on grammar and editing at this stage. We save that for the next stage, our editing stage. Just before we turn something in, this is where we really focus on polishing. We handle the smaller issues, what we sometimes call lower order concerns, like grammar, spelling, phrasing, sentence level issues. Maybe you have a period or a comma where you really didn't need one. This is where you handle that side of things. So then the final stage of the writing process is the publishing stage, which for most of us, this just means sharing. The publishing stage is when you submit something online on Blackboard. This is when you, for some other documents, this is when you start sending out resumes or cover letters or research statements, things like that. That would be considered your publishing stage, when you've got a ready document, you're sending it out so that you can have it be reviewed and be shared with others so that they can see what kind of work you're able to do. So this writing process can be really fluid. It can be really structured, depending on, again, just what kind of process you personally have. And luckily, if you're a little curious or a little, concerned or a little unsure about what that writing process might look like for you, we would encourage you to come and set up an appointment with us. We're happy to help you out at whatever stage in that process you might be. Even if you're very, unsure about where you're at, please, by all means, set an appointment and we will help you, we'll help you work on your brainstorming. We'll help you do some outlining. We'll help you come up with a good thesis statement. As far as your drafting and your revision, we are more than happy to help you with drafting and with connecting the dots between your sources. We're happy to help you with revision. In fact, that's probably what I would say is one of our biggest services, one of the biggest things we do with writing tutoring. Once you've got something written, we're happy to help you try to find how you can rearrange the content, how you can make it better, how you can make it say something different, and how you can distill it to a more polished, more refined document. The editing and polishing is a little bit more secondary. This is still something that happens a lot. This is something that is probably expected in a lot of writing tutoring sessions. It's not something that we try to put at the forefront of our appointments because, again, this is something that can get really tedious and really time consuming. And if we're trying to do major revisions and if we're trying to give you good feedback that speaks to the content, We don't want to get too caught up in just looking at exclusively the spelling, because then we're not helping you to the fullest extent. We're not helping you really, really hone your content or your writing at a craft level. So, and then lastly, preparing to publish, this is where we're going to help you make sure things are formatted correctly. We're going to help you make sure that you're hitting those assignment guidelines. This is why it's so important for us to have rubrics and to have assignment prompts as part of our writing sessions. So again, we are happy to help with all stages of the writing process. And again, adding on to this, we're happy to help you with really any kind of document you could bring us. Most of the work we do here is revolving around traditional academic essays. There's a lot of literature-based assignments and a lot of research papers that we see. But there's also a lot of other things. There's annotated bibliographies, which we are happy to help with distilling sources down and annotating sources. We're happy to help you with, with drafting those citations and figuring out what to cite and how to cite. Additionally, our tutors love working with creative writing. Our tutors are able to work with you on lab reports for your hard sciences or your mathematics. As far as like the more niche concepts, the more niche projects, presentations are always something that's easy and fun to work with. Multimodal projects are a lot of fun. We've had students come in to ask for advice on proposals for art projects. We've also had students come in with work on portfolios, reflection papers, students who have come in working on things for grad school, materials for applying to the job market, and the master's and doctorate level grad programs. Essentially, if you can think of a document genre, we've probably seen it between someone on our staff or one of our great tutors. So again, I cannot stress this enough. Please set an appointment with us. Please make sure if you're at all concerned about working on a new kind of assignment or wanting some extra feedback, we are, really excited to work with you. So I did have a stopping point in here to take a break. So if you need to pause and go get a drink of water, please feel free. I'll make sure to guard the camera while you're gone. All right, and we'll go ahead and get back. So we've kind of talked about what the Writing Center does, and we've talked about sort of the broad strokes of what we do and what documents we are willing to work with and what the writing process looks like. To get more specific, I wanted to share a little bit about who we are. The Writing Center, the USC Writing Center, is different from the Peer Writing Lab here at University of South Carolina. The Peer Writing Lab is facilitated by mostly undergrads, and it is truly a peer undergrad writing center. They work mostly with undergrads, and they work and they're run by undergrads. The Writing Center that we're talking about today is organized under the English department, and it is staffed exclusively by English grad students. We have 11 master's student tutors on staff. They are all, fantastic students. And we also have 3 administrators offering tutoring services as well. That would be myself, as well as the other assistant director, Anna McDonald, and then our director, Deidre Evans-Garriott. So that brings us to a total of 14 tutors that you can choose from. Some of these tutors have online modalities, some of them are in person. But, based on the schedule, there's bound to be someone that you can work with that's knowledgeable and that's ready to help you. And just to kind of give you a little bit more advice on what our tutors' specialties are, these are our tutors' preferences and their expertises, which they shared with us on Instagram. We were doing a Meet Your Writing Tutors weekly post on Instagram. So we've got Athena, who really enjoys working with personal statements and literature papers, lit analysis, things like that. We have Bevan, who specializes in undergrad essays and writing thesis statements. We have Fiona, who's also specializes in thesis statements and really enjoys working on final drafts. Then we have Jiaming, who works a lot on personal statements and does some other things with essays. We have Kyla, who really enjoys working on final drafts, really specifically enjoys doc drops. She likes working with those, upperclassmen courses. We also have Lisa, who really enjoys working with brainstorming, really enjoys close reading, and she also really particularly enjoys doc drop sessions. Then we have Logan, who really enjoys brainstorming and in-person appointments. He likes to be involved. He likes to be able to engage with a client one-on-one. So if you really like working on, freshman writing and brainstorming really fun ideas and having some good interaction, he's a really awesome tutor to work with. And then we also have Lydia, who again really enjoys working on essays, really enjoys creative writing. And then our three new tutors this semester, this spring semester, we have Mandy, who has worked at the Writing Center before. We have Mosiah, and we have Sarah. And those are all three brand new tutors. They haven't really shared their favorites and expertises as of yet, but be on the lookout for those. These are, obviously wonderful tutors who are ready to help you out with whatever you're working on. And we've talked about what kind of documents we work with and what kind of processes we work with. But now to think about, who do we actively serve? Who do we work with? So we work with every department. We've tutored students from the education side of things. We've tutored students from the humanities. That would be the anthropology, history, the social sciences, English, of course. We also tutor to the maths. We tutor to the hard sciences, the ologies, as I like to say, biology, astronomy, geology. We essentially will tutor any department, any topic. We're happy to work with you on whatever subject you're working with. We do not balk at this when we say we offer tutoring for all students. We've had students from first year English to postdoctorate. This past summer, I actually worked with a client specifically working on a specific kind of jet engine. They were working on a published paper for a postdoctoral research project. So regardless of your year, regardless of your academic standing, your GPA, whatever projects you're working on, whether you're doing research assistantships or just in your very first year as a freshman here, we're here for you. We want to be able to help you. We want to work with you, and we're engaged in trying to help you become better writers. And to that, our clients also not only come from a different range of departments, but also come from a wide range of backgrounds personally. We have clients from different nationalities. Some are international students. Some are from right here in our own backyard in South Carolina. We have clients who speak different languages, clients who are non-native speakers, clients who are Indigenous American. We've been able to work with a lot of really interesting clients. We also tutor to all different races and ethnicities, all different identities. We make really strong efforts to be inclusive and to be respectful and to practice a really diverse approach to tutoring and to teaching. So please do not feel like you would be out of place or uncomfortable. We are more than happy to welcome anybody and everybody to the Writing Center. And this also means we tutor to different academic abilities. You know, not everybody who comes to the Writing Center is an A student, but also it's important to acknowledge that there are plenty of A students who still come to the Writing Center to get extra feedback or to get extra advice or just to make sure that they're getting a good fair shake to make sure that their ideas hold weight. So again, all different kinds of backgrounds, all different languages and races and ethnicities and identities, and pretty much anybody who writes is welcome at the Writing Center. So again, I've got this blank slide inserted into the PowerPoint just so that you can get a breather if you need to. So if you want to take a break, if you need to pause, please feel free. I'll be happy to give you a second to pause. And again, I'll guard the camera for you. All right, we'll go ahead and get back. So what to expect? This is kind of where we're starting to get towards what you should be ready for if you're going to set up an appointment. So as I said before, we offer 25 and 55-minute sessions via in-person, live video, or document drop-off modalities. I would think about which one of those would be most appropriate. Think about the timing. How big of a document do you have here? If you've got something that's, maybe let's say 2 to 5 pages, 2 to 4 pages, you could probably be okay in a 25-minute session. If it's something where it's a little bit longer, or if it's something where you think you might need a little bit more intense feedback on this document, please feel free to make a 55-minute session, and we'll be happy to meet with you additional sessions if you need to later down the line. But think about whether in-person or live video or document drop-off would suit your needs best. Now, to that, we'll get to a little bit more explanation of what those sessions are intended for here in a moment. But basically, think about if you need one-to-one engaging conversation about this document, you should probably do in-person or live video. If you really just need spot checks and a little bit more later draft, we'll say, a little bit more later in the process feedback, that might be okay for doc drop. So we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Again, all appointments are one-on-one with a trained writing tutor. Our tutors do have training. We have weekly meetings where we discuss issues and work on honing our craft. In an appointment with one of these tutors, we're typically going to try and focus primarily on higher order concerns. This would be things like content, making sure that your arguments hold weight, your paragraph organization, the flow of the document overall, the research, the synthesis. We want to try to make sure that everything is sound from a structural level before we start looking at, is there a speck on the side of this wall that really, we want to try to buff out. So we're going to focus on that structure and those higher order concerns first and foremost. Then a lot of times, once we have those things set and secure, we'll shift to lower order concerns as a secondary issue. This could be something along the lines of sentence level phrasing. This could be your spelling, your grammar. In some ways, this might be citation. If it's just in-text citation, you want to make sure that everything adds up. So again, we're going to go higher order concerns, then maybe lower order concerns if we have time. And after each appointment, please expect to see our report summarizing your session, offering next steps. Again, we can send these to your instructors. It is no problem at all. So in a live video session or in an in-person session, a good way to think about these in terms of what to expect would be, you should expect to go through this sort of order of operations. Number one, we're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to discuss your needs. A lot of times when I'm tutoring in an in-person or a live video session, I'm going to make it really clear who I am, and we're going to try to say, okay, what are we working on today? I saw that you were wanting to talk about literary analysis of Treasure Island. What specifically were we looking at? Were there any questions that you wanted to start with? Were there any parts of the paper you wanted to start with? And let the client kind of tell us what they want first. So once we hear from the client, then we can say, okay, well, maybe let's plan to do this and this. We'll set one or two goals. Theoretically looking at that Treasure Island example, I might say, okay, well, we want to look at our main character, Jim Hawkins, and we want to look at Jim's place on the ship, and we want to talk about the symbolism of him finding a knife. What does this mean? And that gives us two real simple goals that we can discuss in terms of incorporating those two elements into the paper. Or it might be something like we want to focus on, this one element of your argument, this thesis statement, and we want to talk about the flow of your paragraphs. So once we have a steady goal that we can work towards, now we begin working together. A lot of times this will come out in the form of tutors reading aloud, or again, if I have a client that wants to start at one paragraph or another, I might say, okay, well, how about, let's start talking about what are we concerned about? Are there specific issues that you see in your own work that we can deal with? And they might say something like, oh, well, I want to make sure that I'm following this source. I want to make sure that I'm following the assignment prompt. And so now we can refer back to that source, or refer back to the assignment prompt, and we can move forward with a discussion about what adds up, what doesn't add up, what fits, what does not fit. And this will hopefully give us the chance to give some direct advice and feedback, but also to ask questions. A big part of what writing tutoring boils down to is just figuring out what do we already know? And that means your writing tutor might ask you some questions to try and prompt your own thinking. And once we hit that 22, 23-minute mark, we see our session might be winding down, getting close on time. The tutor will often try to wrap up that conversation by trying to summarize, what are the next steps, and trying to bring the conversation to a close of, summarizing what changes we can make, summarizing what feedback we have to offer, and discussing next steps, be that, read this again, find someone else to help you read it with you, or set up another appointment with us, and we'll be happy to go through this document a little bit more. I know that's something that has really been a recurring theme for my tutoring, is once I have a good session with a client, I'm always going to prompt them to set up another appointment, especially for longer form documents. Working with grad students where you have a document that is 20, 30 pages in length, that's impossible really for us to get through in one session. So I'm going to say, let's plan to meet again in 2 weeks, and let's work on this next section of your paper at that point. So that's, again, what you can expect from an in-person or a live video session. Those two modalities are very similar based on the tutoring that you're needing. Now, different one, the one that's a little bit more unique, is our document drop-off. If you make a document drop-off appointment, you'll be asked to attach a document. Usually people will attach the Word file that they're using for this paper. You can attach as many as 10 files. Now, please don't think that means that we want you to attach 10 different documents and expect us to go through each document in one session. But if you have a assignment that you've got a draft of, and then maybe you have your annotated bibliography for this draft is a separate document, and maybe you have the assignment prompt and maybe you have a fourth document that's a source that you're trying to use as a primary or secondary source for this assignment. You can do that, and we can have those things as resources to help the tutor as they're working through the assignment with you or for you. But please, again, do not expect our tutors to go through multiple assignments in one session. That makes it very difficult to provide worthwhile advice. To that end, please, in the prompt for setting up an appointment, please clearly express what kind of feedback or specific tutoring needs you have. In our doc drops, this is often the only kind of interaction that our tutors will have with you. And at the same time, when they send out their reports, that's often the only real feedback you're going to receive from them in the way of next steps and things like that. So during your scheduled appointment, it's really important for us to review your document, offer feedback and revisions. Again, I personally like to comment in the margins and just send you back your Word document just with my comments attached. And I want to stress, when you set up a doc drop appointment, you do not need to attend this doc drop appointment. Tutors will go ahead and work on this document during that time frame, and then they will email your report, email any files they're using to you after the session. And again, they can also send these to your instructors if you need proof of attendance or anything like that. I also want to stress with the doc drop sessions, please do not schedule these doc drops for English 101, 102 assignments. We've worked with some clients, and we've decided that it is much more effective for English 101 and 102 students to get feedback in person or from live video appointments than for document drop off. So please keep the document drop off to other courses, to potentially your sophomore, junior, senior level courses, especially those things, again, where you're dealing with later drafts, where maybe you need a little bit less direct engagement in your feedback. The same way we've talked about some things to expect, there's also some things that we want to encourage you not to expect. These are things that we would love to be able to provide, but it's really not practical, not feasible, maybe not helpful for you or for us to try and expect these things. So to that extent, please do not expect your tutor to review multiple assignments. In some cases, there have been tutors who have been able to work through 2 assignments if it's explicitly stated in the appointment prompts. When you schedule an appointment and you say, specifically, I want to work on this small assignment and this small assignment. In some cases, that might be acceptable. But especially for a session where tutors don't have time to prep or don't have time to adequately wrap their heads around multiple assignments, please don't expect our tutors to deal with 5 strings of assignments all in one. And also that means don't, in the middle of a session, if you're working on a session and you finish quicker than you anticipated, please don't immediately pull out a second document and expect that tutor's going to start all over again and give you entirely new feedback on an assignment at a moment's notice. Number 2, and this one's also really important, please know that tutors cannot predict your grade on a work. Although tutors might be able to help you improve your work or might be able to give you an idea of what the instructor could be looking for, we don't know always what the instructor is really asking for. We don't know always what the instructor's grading curves are going to be like. So please do not do the thing where you're sitting with a tutor and you say, what would this get? Would this get an A? Would this get a B? If it's going to get a B, can you help me fix it? As much as we would love to, that's not really why we're there. That's not something that we can that we can be responsible for. Another thing that tutors cannot be responsible for is we cannot draft content for you. We can offer suggestions, we can offer feedback, we can help you revise your content, but we cannot edit documents for you. We cannot write sentences or things like that for you. So because of these two things, it's really important for you to take an active role. Please do not expect to, be on your phone or to be reading something else or not paying attention in a tutoring session. We want you to be an active part of this process. We need you to be an active part of this process. So please don't be a spectator. Please make sure that you're engaged. Please make sure that you're participating and that you're listening intently to the tutor's feedback and their suggestions and their assistance. Another thing is similar boat. Please don't expect tutors to simply fix your spelling or grammar. Again, they might get to this in a later portion of the session. They might have time that they can say, I see this is a recurring issue. Let's work on maybe some exercises to fix commas. Maybe let's work on some exercises to improve your spelling, or let's look up some other words that we could use instead. That might be a little bit more practical. However, again, this is not really our foremost concern. So please, be respectful of the process and be understanding that your tutors are not copy editors. They're not here to only fix mistakes and then not comment on the rest of the paper. And then the last thing to make sure that you're keeping in mind and to not expect, our schedule does fill up quite quickly. If we have open slots, a lot of times they fill up days or weeks in advance. So please do not wait to the last minute. Please do not arrive late. We have our policy of no shows, where if you miss 15 minutes of a session, we're going to mark you as a no-show. We're going to cancel that session, and obviously that makes it difficult because now someone else may have been trying to get scheduled and couldn't because it was full. Please also, if you have an appointment, please do your best not to miss. If you need to cancel, by all means, we understand. There is no penalty for canceling, but please do not miss your scheduled appointments. We have had students who in the past have missed multiple sessions with no shows and no information, no notice. If it gets problematic, sometimes we do require those students to schedule only in person from then on. Sometimes we do block students if they repeatedly schedule and don't show up for an appointment. We will block them from being able to schedule sessions. So please do not do that. And please also do not show up to the center and just expect to walk in and sit down and be meeting with a tutor without an appointment. This has happened, and it's always unfortunate when we have to explain that we cannot take additional appointments because we're so full. So got one more chance to take a break. If you need to take a breather, if you need to pause the camera and go or pause the video and go get a drink of water or anything, I'm going to, and I'll guard the camera, make sure that it's here for when you get back. All right, we'll go ahead and get back. So as I was just saying, appointments only. There's no walk-ins allowed this semester. We do offer appointments via live video, in person, or document drop-off. I would encourage you to think about what modality fits your needs best. In person and live video are generally the best ways to get really immediate, really clear feedback. You can always clarify or ask the instructor, or I'm sorry, the tutor, to be more specific or more clear, or to give more specific and exact feedback. Doc drops are usually better reserved for upper coursework, later drafts, things that maybe require a little less direct attention. However, in either of those formats, when you're setting up an appointment, please be as specific as you possibly can. Tell us exactly what you need. The more clear and specific you can be, the better our tutors can assist you. When you set up an appointment, it's going to ask you, apart from proofreading and clarity, what more specifically do you need? What exact kind of feedback are you looking for? Do you want feedback on your sources? Do you want feedback on the flow of your paragraphs or your thesis statement? The more specific you can be, the more adequately we can answer those concerns. So if you would like to set up an appointment, we do have this QR code that you can scan. It should work. If for some reason it's giving you trouble or not working, we would encourage you to, the easy way to do this is to search for the SC Writing Center. SC Writing Center. And then what you would do from there is you can click on Schedule an Appointment. That will take you to the WC Online page. From there, you'll need to register if you don't have one for a WCO USC account. Then once you register, you can log in to that WCO account, and then you'll be able to find an appointment and actually schedule this. So I'm going to switch my screen to share something slightly different. So this would be the SC Writing Center page. So you can see what this might look like. This is our Writing Center page. We have our mission statement here. We have our different modalities listed. And over here, this is the tab that you'd be looking for, Schedule an Appointment. You've also got our address and our phone number. If you want to contact us, please feel free. But you can go to the Schedule an Appointment. You'll click on that. It will take you to this page. As you can see, I've already got my email loaded in here. I've got my account ready to go. We've got our hours here, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's our in-person and remote schedule. Then Monday through Thursday in the evenings, 6 to 9 p.m. That's our evening remote schedule. And Friday, we only offer remote appointments from 12 to 2 p.m. So again, these are all times bookable by appointment only. And you can access these different schedules, the in-person schedule, the daytime schedule, which is what's selected here. Our remote only schedule is selectable here, or I'm sorry, here. So you can use this to figure out our spring hours. So, but as I said, I'm going to go ahead and log in here to my WCO account. And now it's looking at the days and the nights and virtual schedule. I'm going to switch it over to the day schedule. And when you apply, when you're trying to schedule an appointment, it will look something vaguely like this. I'll move it down here so that you can see. When you're looking at our schedule, these white blocks are all the open available slots. Once you schedule an appointment, I'll schedule with Messiah. You'll schedule an appointment and it will look like this. It'll be a pop-up window. It'll have your name. This will be your, typically this is your University of South Carolina information. You'll be able to select whether you want a 10 a.m. A 30-minute session or a full hour session. You'll be able to choose your modality, whether you'd like to meet face-to-face, whether you would like to meet via live video, or whether you'd like to meet via a document drop-off. And then it will ask you for some details about what course you're participating in, this would be what course is the assignment for. So let's say we're going to do a writing tutoring appointment for an English 102 assignment. And I'm going to say this needs to be a face-to-face appointment. And it's asking what kind of document will I bring to the session? I might say a blank page. I might say an essay draft. I might say that I'm working on a literature review or a personal statement. So you can choose what kind of document we're going to be working with. Again, this is completely up to you. Again, you can tell us where you're at in the writing process. We want to know what kind of brainstorming or first draft or second draft or final draft that we can be expecting. Aside from the proofreading and editing, please explain clearly and specifically why you're coming to the Writing Center with this document. Please write at least 25 words explaining your needs. This is where we'll ask you to give us the explicit feedback you're looking for. On a scale of 1 to 5, how confident do you feel? We want to know what your level of engagement and stress is here so that we can, again, be prepared and help to serve you in whatever way you need. You can also include any trigger warnings here. You can include information about what sensitive material we might be dealing with. This is so that if you have something particularly concerning that you want to discuss, we can make sure that our writing tutors are prepared and so that they're ready to discuss whatever topic you're dealing with in a way that's respectful, in a way that's encouraging, and in a way that gives you the kind of feedback and encouragement and assistance that you need. Lastly, you can tell us your due date or whatever time the assignment's due. If it's a close deadline, we can make sure we prioritize getting a report back to you. Would you like to send that report to an instructor? And then we'll also ask you some additional information about what majors you are working with, or what your program is if you're a grad student. Excuse me. If you need any accommodations, any kind of additional assistance. And then lastly, the file attachments. Again, you can submit up to 10 documents. So please let us know if you need an appointment or if you're having any trouble with these, and we will figure out a way to make sure that you get an appointment and that it's all set up for you. So see if I can go back to the slideshow. So these are just the screens that we just looked at. So I believe that's all that I have. Our hours of operation, as I said, are Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's our daytime hours. You can access that schedule by looking for Spring 2024 daytime. Our Spring 2024 remote nighttime and remote calendar will be available from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, or Friday during the day, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We do have a reduced schedule because our staff is so small, but we have lots of spaces available right this second, so please make an appointment as soon as you can. Our location, just as one last reminder, is at the James F. Burns Building. This is at the mouth of the Horseshoe. Just go inside the double doors, go to the elevators, go up to the 7th floor, hang a left, and you cannot miss us. So we hope to see you there, or I guess here. Hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully you feel good about being able to reach out to us for assistance. In case there's any last minute questions, I did come up with a few FAQ. Can you schedule multiple appointments? Of course you can. We encourage that. Which modality is best? Again, this is going to fall to you, but generally I really appreciate the live video. I think that's where you get the most interaction and the most feedback. Does the Writing Center help with citation? Absolutely. We reference the citation guidelines. We will help you navigate those. and we will be happy to share those resources with you and help you get your citations and your sources all together. Does the Writing Center only assist struggling students? No, absolutely not. We assist struggling students, yes, but we also assist students who are doing fantastic. We assist students who are feeling good about their writing, and we assist students, again, at really all levels, all skill levels, all academic levels. Can I schedule an appointment for group projects? This one is a little bit trickier. Yes, you can. We do not recommend that you meet with us as a group necessarily. But if you have a group project you're working on, we are more than willing to try and work with you and try to find ways that will fit whatever it is you need. So that's all I have. If you have any additional questions or any additional concerns, please reach out to us. You can find us at sc.mywconline.net. You can use that number that I showed. You can use our email, englwc@mailbox.sc.edu, or you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. But I hope you have a great day. I hope this has been informative, and best of luck. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day.